So a little bit earlier when I was talking about the front end and kind of going over the lengths, I mistakenly said the rear arms. I meant to say lower arms. So on the front, the lower arms, I adjusted 1 inch over stock. And the uppers, I adjusted a 1/2 inch over stock. This will give me a little more caster and should make the Jeep drive a little bit better. Let's move on to the back. I got the anti-rock about half installed in the rear, and I was going to go over a few things back here. So I tried to use the shorter links back here that came with the 1.5 inch Mojave kit. They're not going to work out. I might end up ordering some different length links from Rock Jock, but for now I'm going to run the ones that come with the anti-rock. The reason the shorter ones won't work is if you get this arm up where it needs to go, the link's too short and I think it could break over the other way and bend the link, so we're not going to do that. This bracket goes up into a square frame hole. You do have to kind of grind it out, and then it has some spacers. You have to remove a couple brackets on both sides up here that hold the harness. One on each side that holds the harness, and then one on the driver's side that I guess is supposed to hold this exhaust from slipping forward. That's the only thing I can figure out, maybe a kind of a heat shield. But here's the bracket that holds the harness, and then this one kind of overlaps like that and was holding the exhaust. The bracket on the other side is identical to this one, the harness bracket. So I got the lower bracket installed. On this side, I had to measure out and mark this hole. I measured the other side to get the measurement. On the other side, this hole is drilled, but I've kind of got it mocked up, and I got the other side almost ready to go together. I got this sway bar slid through to give me more clearance working on the other side. So let's go check out the other side, and I'll show you a few things I had to do to get this bracket in. So if you look up at this frame hole, I kind of ground the weld out just a little bit, and then I put a nice chamfer on this. It allows this this bracket to slip in more easily. I also removed the powder coat on the outside of this, and put a little taper here on these wedge plates so they go in more easily. But that's about it on that. Put this up and drive it in with the hammer, and then put in the other 2 bolts and torque them. So I'll get this installed, and then I'll come back and show you how it turned out. This bottom bracket on this side is just a direct bolt on. It has a nut plate on this side, welded nut on this side, and it uses a factory bolt here. So real straightforward on that. So when you put the anti-rock on the rear, you have to notch the fender liners. Pretty simple. I just laid this square and marked both sides, and then made it about a 1/4 inch wider, and then traced it out. I'm gonna hole saw up here, and then just cut to the hole saw marks, or the hole saw cut out. I can show you the other side. So I've already got the hole saw on this side, and then I'm just gonna cut the 2 lines down and look nice and clean and simple. So I've got everything installed on the 2020 Gladiator. Anti-rock's completely installed. You can see how that notch turned out in the fender liner, real clean. The only thing I have loose on the vehicle right now, or the only things, is one sway bar link on both sides. When I set it on the ground, I'm gonna make sure these are in the neutral position, like no preload in it. Get that fine-tuned and tighten that up. And also I left the shock mounts loose, both upper and lower, front and rear, just to not build up any like twist in the bushings. I'm gonna tighten those up at ride height. And then the track bars, I left the jam nuts loose on the track bars. I'll get it setting on the ground under its own weight and make sure the axle's centered under the truck, and then tighten those up. I've already got the front tires and wheels on it, and look pretty sharp. They match real well. Real happy with them. So I'm gonna get this thing set on the ground, adjust the track bars if I need to, and torque the wheels, and then I'm going to center up the steering wheel and take it for a drive. I was gonna show this anti-rock real quick too. So turned out really clean. What I like about it is it keeps everything in dual shear. Bracket goes on well. I was able to reuse some of these factory holes to reroute the wire and make it look real clean. Just from the variations in the frame, this side, the spacers work perfectly. If you look at the other side over here, I did end up putting a couple little washers in there because I didn't want the bracket to be bowed. But real nice fitment. I might end up calling Rock Jock and ordering like maybe a 2-inch shorter link, because I think the anti-rock kit's designed for 3 to 4 inch springs, and I have just the 1.5-inch Mojave spacer kit. So I might end up ordering like a 2-inch shorter link so that this at full bump doesn't get up into the fender. I don't really want to have to trim it any more than that. And with the 2-inch shorter link, I won't have to. So, but I'm gonna get it on the ground, check the axle center, torque all the wheels, and adjust the steering and take it for a test drive. And then see if there's somehow I can shoehorn the spare up underneath your 37. But I'll let you know after the test drive how my estimated link adjustment worked out, and update you on everything else.